after a game. So I think having north and south locker rooms, I think, will be a tremendous asset to the area. And then, of course, having somewhere for the officials, I think, is a good number. Where we can work with our football operation teams and the people that we have down there. It takes a huge amount of volunteers and park and rec to make that day go. It's just phenomenal when it comes to the hours that we have to put in. And then the last couple items is the press box and hospitality. Most of y'all have been into the press box and the hospitality. It's just not sufficient. In fact, we had to put a tent up on top of the locker room because the SIAC, the conference that we operate in, we were using it for hospitality, and the media, it was not conducive to do radio and TV and print and have people in there in a hospitality mode. So we put a big tent up every year to have all our corporate sponsors be able to go there, and we can accommodate 200 people there and feed them and what have you. Last year we had a problem. We had such a big crowd last year, we put a bigger tent. But then when we went down on the field and we noticed on the 20-yard line, the quarterback couldn't see the clock. So we had to make arrangements that we had to alert the officials and what have you, and it almost cost us the game, but we worked through without, the quarterback being able to see the clock. And both teams were alerted to that. So the hospitality area renovation, I think, would be a tremendous asset to that, especially for our corporate sponsors who gives a lot of money. We just think that, those few upgrades, I think it's not realistic to, tear down and build a new stadium at an astronomical, but I do think that what we have, the structure that we have, and putting some funds into it to upgrade it and get it to certain specifications, such as the school board, rising it, making it much larger and more efficient in terms of sound, I think will be added additions to it. So I don't want to belabor the point, but I did want to go on record in supporting what you all have put together by 2WR Architects. And again, I want to thank both of Ms. Goodwin and Ms. Hodger and Ms. Router for sitting with me and going through this on multiple occasions. So with that, I just want to again say thank you for your support of our classic. It's because of you and along with all the supporting teams make up the Columbus Consolidated Government, and we don't take that for granted. Come and say thanks, and we're looking forward to 35. But I won't be there as chairman. That's for sure.
If it keeps you around for 35 more years, we'll make sure that they have.
I'll be sure thankful to God if that happened, but I'm a realist.
Well, listen, the game is iconic in our community. It's become something people expect in November, but you've become iconic in our community as well. And we appreciate the effort that you put in to make sure that all of these events go off in such a way as to bring credit to Columbus. And that's something we don't take for granted. And I think everybody understands that with the new development coming in South Columbus, that the A.J. McClung Stadium is a must repair, must fix. So I think this is for David. Yep.
Mr. Smyrie, you have so many titles in front of your name. It says on here, the Honorable Calvin Smyrie. I'd just like to call you friend. Can I do that?
Thank you.
I just want to just ask, where are we at? We're moving forward, right? In the improvements of what we're talking about here. Is that right? And I ask that question because time is of essence with all these events. They'll be on us before we know it. And you only got a limited amount of time for construction to make these improvements. But it's mine
Months ago, and I think it's moving ahead.
So what was included in the budget was to do a bond issue. So the budget was just approved at the last council meeting. So now we can start moving forward with that process.
Well, that's great. It's it's a pleasure to be able to honor you and so many others, the good works and things that's been accomplished over the years. And I think that would be a small appreciation. So thank you for everything, all your work
Thank you.
and making it successful down there.
Thank you. If I can add one more caveat, and I talked with Ms. Hodge and Ms. Goodwin about this, the timing is important because, we hope that, in November, we play the game, and then whenever it happens, we would hope it would happen quickly so that it gives you a year before the next game, because we don't want to be displaced for 1 year and then have to come back. And so that's something I hope you all would give that consideration, that when we'll be notified. And I'd like to continue discussion with you all individually and with the team that's moving forward with it. And if any kind of, recommendation to help we can be of to you, we want to be that. But we are asking for the timeline to meet it so that we can play in it and then shut it down for a full year and then get the renovation done so we can have the next one, have the grand opening of the new renovation, maybe sometime prior to the game, something of that nature, if you could.
Agreed. I'm not sure who this is. Councilor Chambers?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Did you say $75 million in scholarships?
I wish I could have said
What was that number?
If you want to help me, you can help me put that 7 in front of the 5. Not 75. Oh, my God.
Right.
We would, the Lord would have truly have blessed the people of Columbus, Georgia. 5 million.
Yeah. Well, but seriously, my question is, what type of timeline are we looking at as far as having some movement on this project?
So we'll have to go through the bond issue process, which is about a 90-day process, but we can do the design work during that period of time. And so that we've talked to Mr. Smyrie about the timeline and being able to play the game this November, do the improvements so that the following November it's ready to go. So that's our expected timeline.
So all the enhancements or everything he just went over, will we be able to fund everything that he just stated?
We'll have to see how much that funding will get us.
Because I just want to make sure that we get this right, on the first, the first chance. So, okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mary, thank you, sir. Thank you for all you've done for Columbus. And we appreciate the way you leading that classic, and we're going to do our part to try to make sure it's ready a year from November.
Thank y'all very much, Mr. Mayor and City Council members.
All right, Mr. City Attorney, I believe we're on to your agenda.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. We do have a lot of items that need action today by the council. First one up is the zoning ordinance at 2458, 2464 Martha's Loop. It's ready for action.
All right, there's a motion and a second to approve the rezoning of Martha's Loop. Any discussion on that item? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That's approved.
Okay, next item is 715 and 723 Apex Road. It's ready for adoption or approval.
There's a motion and a second to approve Apex Road. Any discussion on that item? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That's approved.
All right, next one is property at 5227 13th Avenue. It's ready for adoption.
Motion and a second to approve 13th Avenue. Any discussion on that item? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That's approved.
All right, next is the mill redevelopment, zoning, Bibb City.
There's a motion and a second to approve the Mill District. Any discussion on that? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that is approved.
Okay, the next one is the millage ordinance. It's 3 urban service districts and 3 business improvement districts. That's ready for action.
There's a motion and a second to approve that item. Any discussion on the urban service districts or bid districts? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? That is approved.
All right, next we've got the curfew for the uptown area, which has been discussed. I think Mayor Pro Tem has a motion to amend the version that's down the table with a graduated penalty put in for any parents that might be charged or warning. First offense, $500, second offense, $1,000, any third or subsequent offense. But Mayor Pro Tem, you want to deal with that amendment?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. After a meeting with quite a few stakeholders over several days, this is the amendment that I would like to ask council to agree to. It comes under section 1415, and it's section B. Any parent, guardian, or other adult violating this code section shall receive a written warning for their first offense and shall be fined a minimum of $500 for the second offense and shall be fined a minimum of $1,000 for the third and each subsequent offense. I move the adoption.
Second. There's a maximum of what? No, it's a maximum of $1,000.
It says minimum,
Mhm.
but the most they can find in that court is
Yeah, the most they can find is 1,000, but that would be the third offense, 1,000.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Let me see who's next. Councilor Chambers.
Well, I have a substitute motion, so you just let me know when that's appropriate.
Yes, sir. I think he can go ahead.
Yeah, you can go ahead and make a substitute motion.
I just want to say, I want to address this teen curfew proposed by Uptown Inc. While I share the desire to keep our public spaces safe, this ordinance to me has a fundamental flaw, and it applies only to Uptown. Public safety, is a citywide issue, not a neighborhood issue. A localized curfew does not solve the problem. It simply moves it. We will inevitably displace these teenagers, these youths, into Midtown, our neighborhoods, parks, and surrounding residential streets. Furthermore, a geographical double standard is inherently unfair and creates operational confusion for law enforcement. I just believe that our laws, they must be clear, uniform, and equitable. If this council decides that a curfew is necessary to protect our youth and our streets, I feel that we must have the courage to apply it equally. I suggest that if we move forward with this ordinance, we amend it to make it citywide. I feel that we need to protect every neighborhood in Columbus, Georgia, and not just one. So my motion is for us to consider a citywide ordinance.
All right, there's a motion and a second, a substitute motion and second to make the ordinance effective citywide. At the same times, everything else in the same. Okay. All right, any discussion on the substitute motion? I want to make one comment about this substitute motion. I understand completely where the counselor's coming from. And as I stated at the last meeting, Uptown is different. And it was different by design. We hired Market Street, I believe, to come in and take a look at how we revitalize our downtown. And what they said is to put in a specialized zoning, a CRD. It exists nowhere else in Columbus. It's a central riverfront district. And the reason for that is because they wanted it to transition in the early evening to an environment that is conducive to people, to adults coming down there and spending some time down there. So the challenge what we've got right now is we have children who are walking or even getting a credit card from their parents and Ubering down there to hang out in an area that out of 200 businesses, there's only 4 that are open after 9 that don't sell alcohol. In my fear is we will have allowed children to be hanging around with their buddies, which I understand they want to do, but doing so in an area of immediate proximity to people who have been drinking alcohol for several hours. And those two make them, when they're going to get in their car in the garages, it just makes for a challenge. There's an underlying issue, I think, that we actually pulled some people together and we've begun to discuss, and that is how do we accommodate what these children want and still try to keep them safe? Because it isn't basketball and gaming and things. These children just want to hang out. So anyway, I just wanted to emphasize that it is a different environment. It was a different environment by design. We created a zoning ordinance just for that. And it was designed to keep it an adult area in the evening. So I hope council will consider that as they move forward with this. All right, I've got this to the motion. I'm not sure who's who, but Councilor Coker.
I'm not sure. I guess I have comments for both motions. One, to Councilor Allen's addition of the minimum of, is it supposed to say minimum of $500 or is it supposed to say a maximum of $500? We had,
Be a minimum.
I mean, we had some pretty extensive conversation last time. I know Councilor Tucker had a lot of concern about putting financial burden on some of our citizens, and can that be a maximum of 500? I feel like if we're saying that this is going to be the minimum of 500 for your second offense, that allows for no ceiling.
Well,
Is there a reason that it says minimum and not maximum?
It's up to you, your discretion, whether you want it to be a 500 flat fee on the second offense or up to 500. You can amend it if you want to.
Well, I'm not sure the order
Yeah.
we can come back to that, but I did also want to make a comment on Councilor Chambers' ordinance or amendment or motion. I think we have, like the mayor was making a comment about the CRD and the intention for having adult entertainment in the uptown district. I think if we put a 9 o'clock curfew citywide, and I understand where you're coming from, but I think if we put a citywide curfew of 9 o'clock, we put a lot of, we kind of handcuff some of the other businesses that are in our city that are conducive and open to our youth. And I mean, we have to be sensitive as well to urban air or launch, or some of these other businesses that are open, the skating rink, the movie theaters that are open to our kids after 9 o'clock. And to go back to what other people have said on public agenda last week, where are our kids supposed to go if if we're saying that you need to be home by 9 o'clock? I also want to bring it back to the purpose of this ordinance is not to say to our youth that they can't be downtown after 9 o'clock. All Uptown is asking for is an addition, just some supervision, some parental or guardian supervision. And they just need some help, and they need to make sure that these kids are safe and that our kids are safe. And not put in any position that might jeopardize them. So, if if kids want to be down there at 9 o'clock, I mean, just after 9 o'clock, a parent or guardian supervision with, a group of 4 or 5 of them would be appropriate. So I just, again, want to bring that back to the intention of this is simply just to say kids who are down in Uptown on Friday and Saturday nights just need to be supervised after 9 o'clock.
Okay,
Mayor, as a follow-up to what Councilor Kogel is saying, if you're going to consider a citywide curfew, we would recommend something like what we have seen for citywide curfews around the state, and that would be 11 p.m. weekdays and midnight on the weekends, or some time later than 9 o'clock.
all right, and what I recall is that this only goes to September, so this is really almost like a beta test to see if it's gonna have any impact. Is it gonna move children into other areas of the community? I think it's a short enough period of time that it gives us an opportunity to get some real firsthand data on what transpires with that. All right, I've got some, Councilor Barnes.
Yeah, I'm just not comfortable with, the first defense report that was originally second, a minimum of $500. It should say maximum.
After
And
we,
it should not say a minimum of 1,000, because it can go higher than
well, at 1,000 is the max in
that.
that court.
The court can't go over 1,000.
Okay, it says minimum.
And keep in mind that the judges in the recorder's court, they have discretion. So exactly what Counselor Tucker was talking about, if somebody does not, they're not there to try to take money from people. They're there just to make a point to the parents, need to know where your children are. So they have the discretion to community service, another warning, whichever way they want to go.
Well, you need to amend it if you want to give the judge discretion. You need to say up to 500 and up to 1,000 on the third offense. So it's either or.
Okay. Well, let's deal with the substitute motions on the floor, and then we'll come back to see if they want to amend that to change that. All right. All right. Well, let's vote on the substitute motion.
To the motion.
All right. Your license.
It's okay.
Okay.
I'm willing to flex my support based on the request of the police chief. And like he said, under his leadership that he has earned the right for that request, and especially on a temporary basis. And I'm viewing this as a temporary basis. I'm gonna trust his judgment on this. But I cannot support a citywide curfew, especially at 9 o'clock, because it does impact the district I represent. And I just think that would not be a wise decision. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. No, I don't think. I'm not sure who that is. Oh, it's you. All right.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess in the conversations we were having with the Uptown and the police, the patrol Uptown, the 9 o'clock timeframe was what they prefer. That helped them. If we go to 11 o'clock, it really doesn't help them in their area. So I would ask the council to consider, let's work with Uptown on this issue. And then if we see we have a problem, we can come back and address it at a later date. But I would like to ask us to focus on that. No offense to the motion made by Council Chambers. I think the urgent need today is Uptown. We have been told by the police department they need this tool to help them work with the parents and get the youth headed in the right direction. And now that the city has been made aware of that, if we do not take action, then the liability is on us. God forbid somebody gets hurt and we get sued. I mean, the liability is in our lap right now. We need to take action to help Uptown. That's where the problem is today. I understand the other issues, but we could come back and address that at a later time. But let's move forward with this right now, please. Thank you.
All right, there is a substitute motion on the floor to go citywide curfew at 9 o'clock. All in favor of that substitute motion, say aye. All right, and that is all opposed? No? Okay, all right, that is defeated. So now we'll go back to see if anyone wants to amend the original to state that they will change the wording from minimum to maximum.
I make a motion that we change
Well,
the.
just a moment, Counselor. I'm sorry, Counselor Kogel?
Oh, well, I was just going to say the same thing into the microphone. Yeah, I'll make the motion to make sure that says from first offense will be the written or the written warning, the maximum of or up to $500 for the second offense and up to $1,000 for the third
Okay.
offense.
All right, so there's a first and a second to make that amendment to the original motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now, we'll, do what now? Well, okay, would all those in favor, please raise your right hand.
1, 2, 3.
In favor, please raise your right hand. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All right,
Davis. 4, 5, 6, 7.
all right, all opposed, like sign.
1.
All right, that's approved. All right, so we do have a motion and a second to approve the item as amended. Any further discussion on that item? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes.
Okay. As amended, the 9 o'clock uptown curfew has passed. There will be a delay. The effective date of the ordinance is 10 days after signing by the mayor because it does have criminal penalties in it. So it'll be effective in 10 days. And it will sunset on September 30th, 2026.
All right, and I'm gonna apologize, I'm gonna turn everybody's light off because I don't know who's who. So turn your light back on if you have something that you wanna.
Okay, we ready for the next one, Mayor?
Yes. Well, I guess I'm not turning them off. All right. Hang on, we've got one more. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. As we move into the next item, Mr. City Attorney, I just wanted to offer, again, to those I've met with and talked with over the past several months, if this amendment passes, if this second reading passes, I just wanted to remind you that this is a tool for the planning department, the engineering department, code enforcement to begin work when we get an application. There are no applications in, there are no permits in, there's nothing going on right now. This is a tool for our city to do the work that they always have done through their UDO with developers and anyone wanting to come in and start a business or develop property. So with that, Mayor, I would yield.
And this is item 7 on our agenda, Mayor. It is the provision of a technology overlay district for amending the Unified Development Ordinance to allow the standards and rules in case an applicant comes in for a data center. So to redefine the developments of regional impact, and it is ready for action today.
Motion and second to approve that item. Any discussion on it? We've got, yeah. Oh, Counselor Hank.
Yes, sir. I'd just like to make a statement for the record and kind of echoing what Councilor Mayor Pro Tem Allen just said, that the overlay district is good zoning and a planning tool to open discussions. We've been on ground zero since February 3rd when I first heard about this. And we've been listening to residents talk about a data center. What we're talking about today is a vote for a UDO, the development ordinance, not a vote for a data center. I kind of want to stress that again. This came through our PAC, our planning group, and it came with a recommendation to go forward to have more conversation. And their recommendation came with a condition of adding 500 feet to any ordinance. So I want to stress that we followed a recommendation and we added 500 feet. And that was opposed by some people in the room that are actually for data centers. That, you know, our ordinance reads 75 acre minimum tract for any data center. So putting a 500-foot border around 75 acres actually makes it harder. But we took the recommendation. I'm listening to both sides. And again, we're talking about an ordinance, not a data center. Secondly, it was recommended by planning with setbacks, of which we are listening to. Many people have asked me, you know, on my stance on data center, and I've told them that I have 13 strong conditions of which I'm prepared to say no for a data center. So these 13 conditions came from you guys. And recently, the one I really enjoyed was Bob, who gave a declaration of protections for the citizens. And we're, you know, so, you know, some of my protections, bill of protections is what he called it. Some of my conditions, of which I would say no right away, is we got to measure the money and we've got to have it in writing and measure the investment. We've got to, I'm just going to name a few of them. You know, we're not going to force, I will vote no immediately on a data center if we force sewer hookup, if we don't have the right construction restrictions with real penalties. I want to have conservations if we move forward this strict conservation requirements and low usage of large tracts of land if this moves forward to more dialogue. Decommissioning rules, there's 13 of them. I'm not going to read them all, but I'll state that we're still talking about a development ordinance. We're not talking about a data center. And what I've learned about talking about a data center is we have to get off ground zero. If we don't get off ground zero, we can't really talk about it, even though that's all we've really heard for 5 months or however long it's been since February 3rd. And I'm taking these notes. You know, there's zoning overlay language, which we're voting on today. But then there's regional impact studies that study the cars, the site plans, the utilities, infrastructure, environment, EMC response plans. There's a lot of things, and it's got to go back to PAC. It's got to go back through planning, and that's when the real discussion begins. So I just kind of wanted to reiterate the same thing Councilor Allen, Mayor Pro Tem said. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Councilor Kogel?
Well, and this has not exactly been the easiest overlay to talk about. So I just wanted to make sure for the record that we've heard a lot from all the people in the audience, from people who have emailed, who have called, from the Chamber of Commerce Committee, and we've had lots of recommendations. Some of those recommendations have been adopted, but there are a lot of those recommendations that we haven't even considered nor talked about at the table. And so I think that this is a little bit of a premature thing, and I'm not completely satisfied at this point that, and I know I've been fairly vocal about it, but I'm not completely satisfied at this point that the overlay has enforceability that is going to protect our citizens adequately.
All right. Councilor Crabb?
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify, this is a technology overlay. So we're creating this overlay is a little bit broader because it's not specific to a data center. It could be the chips for chips that has been kind of circling around and people have been talking about that. It could be for robotics that subject has been circling around. It is about technology. And so if we get a chips for chips project that comes to us, or if we get a data center, or if we get a robotics or any other technology type industry that wants to move into this area, then we will double down and we will have another opportunity to get more specific to that general industry. And so I think there's going to be, it's kind of like an onion. There's going to be layers and layers and layers. So I want to encourage you to keep your red shirts, keep your signs. This is just about a technology overlay, and there may be something for a data center in the future. So keep those, but this is not about a data center. This is about an overlay, a technology overlay.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. All right, there is a motion and a second to approve. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Say, all right, all in favor, raise your right hand.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Any opposed, like sign?
2.
All right, that passes.
Okay, that is approved, the overlay. Mayor, we will finish up our formal list here. We have the school district millage assessment ordinance. It's on first reading. They're in the process of having their public hearings now. Tentatively 23.075 mills be the school millage. There's no change from the previous year. Any questions around the table on that?
I don't see any.
Okay. Then we've got one more ordinance. You should have it around the table for the 20 different law firms that we use, different legal services during FY '27. It's ready for adoption. It's not a public hearing.
No. Talking about the school's millage rate. It's not a public hearing for.
That's not a public hearing for
Yeah,
this
that's-
body. That's a
We
school
don't
board.
control any of that. That is strictly the school board. They've had, I think, 3 public hearings, but
Yeah,
that's for their-
they're having a series of hearings. Okay, and item 9, again, is ready for action, Mayor.
all right, there's a motion second to approve the attorney fees list. Any discussion on that? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that's approved.
All right. And then the last thing, Mayor, we will need a short executive session to discuss litigation, potential litigation, and personnel. That's all we have right now.
Okay. All right, we'll move into the public agenda, and it'll be a little different this time because I'm gonna try to time it on my phone. Their technology is not like our technology. So, bear with me just a second. All right, and again, we'll ask the same thing we always ask, just, it's 5 minutes, and please forgive me if I have to interrupt you at the end of 5 minutes. You have an opportunity to come back at the end of the meeting for an additional 3 minutes. And as we do every time, treat those speaking with the kind of respect that you would want to be treated with if you were speaking. So we'll start with Ms. Irma Mason and Ms. Walisha Wilson Menifee, representing New Life Second Chance Outreach. Welcome, and if you would, just state your name and the city or county where you're from.
Good morning. My name is Irma Mason. I'm from Columbus, Muskogee County. Excuse the interruption.
All right, I'm
Good
on.
morning. My name is Irma Mason. I'm a board member of New Life Second Chance Outreach, a formerly incarcerated, volunteer-led 501c3 nonprofit. which was started right here in Columbus. Our founder, Ms. Walisha Wilson, I'm sure everybody knows, it's now a statewide organization that supports, excuse me, supports, trains, and excuse me, advocate for and supports Georgians impacted by arrest, conviction, or incarceration through education, job readiness, entrepreneurship, financial wellness, and connecting them to criminal record-friendly resources. Since starting the organization in 2012, we have helped over 6,000 individuals with criminal records connect to felony-friendly employers and landlords, having connected thousands to background-friendly resources, job readiness, workforce development training, financial literacy, voting and civic engagement, leadership, and entrepreneurship. I come before you today to announce that we are proud to we received our 10th proclamation from the governor to observe July as Reentry Awareness Month throughout the state, and would like to personally invite all of you, those in the audience and those watching live, to join us for the amazing event we have planned in Columbus, in person and virtually. From job fairs to expungement information sessions to free lunches, dinners, cash giveaways, all events are free, open to the public, and aim to educate the community of the challenges that people face while returning from incarceration, but also to highlight the successful of formerly incarcerated people and justice-impacted people. Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Walisha Wilson Menifee, and I started this organization 14 years ago after my release from prison to address the lack of opportunities, programming, and support for people in Columbus who are returning home from incarceration or because they had a felony. I'd like to stress that this month-long series of free events is committed to second chances, to focus on reentry, employment, healing, advocacy, faith, and community connection. And receiving this proclamation for the 10th year underscores the ongoing need to support successful reentry, amplify the importance of second chances and inclusion, reduce recidivism, and strengthen reentry, amplify them across and through communities across the state. People only focus on the charge, but not the people, and have no idea how hard it is to thrive when doors are to upward mobility are consistently slammed in your face simply because of a criminal record. Everyone deserves employment, everyone deserves housing, and everyone deserves access to the resources that will help them thrive and become law-abiding and productive citizens. This is why I am personally inviting all of you out on July 28th, for those of you who do have the packets, July 28th at Asbury Church from 8:30 to 2:30 p.m. for a reentry simulation and training and town hall to walk in the shoes of people returning home, so you will see firsthand how hard it is and advocate for policies that include your impacted neighbors instead of excluding them. As I close, before I close, I wanted to also read the proclamation, if I may, that Governor Kemp gave us. Whereas over 4.5 million people in Georgia, over 50% of Georgian adults have a criminal record on file with the Georgia crime, the GCIC, resulting in them facing collateral consequences of their incarceration. Whereas returning to the community after incarceration is a difficult transition, and an effective reentry process is vital to providing those in Georgia's correction system with renewed opportunities for success. Whereas successful reentry empowers returning citizens to refrain from crime and incentivizes law-abiding behavior, thus supporting public safety throughout the state. Whereas supporting and bringing awareness to these challenges and success of reentry restores families, builds stronger communities, and eliminates obstacles that prevent returning citizens from finding meaningful employment and housing. And whereas by eliminating negative stigmas associated with having a criminal record, supporting inclusiveness and promoting redemption, compassion, and kindness, we can help returning citizens thrive and achieve brighter futures. Whereas Georgia's efforts in providing
Wilson.
pathways to remove barriers to
Wilson.
employment.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
But you're at the end of your 5 minutes.
Oh.
I hate to cut you off, I do, but I'm gonna have other people speaking and they're wonder why I let you go. and
Well,
nobody else.
can I leave with a scripture since y'all open up with a scripture?
You can.
Okay, let me open up with a scripture. But let me close with a scripture. Be kind and compassionate to one another. Forgive each other just as Christ forgave you. For the Lord hears the needy and does not despise his own people who are in prison. And one of my favorites, spoken by the prophet Isaiah, who recorded them as direct message from God, that says, say no to wrong, learn to do good, work for justice, help the down and out, stand up for the homeless, and go to bat for the defenseless.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, next is Mr. Danny Arancibia, representing Columbus Collaborative, Inc. Action Plan with Strategic Local Public-Private Partnerships for Youth.
Good morning, council and mayor. How are y'all doing this morning? I hope everybody's going and having a day so far. It's been a lot. It's been a pretty busy morning. I'm going to be as quick as I possibly can. So we have concerns that have led to discussions today, both today regarding downtown youth curfew, and we all know how that went. I do realize public safety matters. Everyone wants a safer community, but we do have to ask that question. I'm going to ask it again. If we tell people where they cannot go, where are we telling them that they can go? And I believe, that's something that we're going to have to continually ask ourselves. After my youth pastor days back in 2009, I opened up an all ages music venue here in Columbus for a very specific reason. If you're downtown and if you're a restaurant and if you don't sell more than 51% of food, typically, if you're under the age of 21, you're not really allowed to be in there. And so that not only limits where our youth can go, if that place, if that venue, that bar, that restaurant only, if they have live entertainment and they don't sell 51% worth of food as their main income, a lot of folks don't know that. And I believe that is important. And because of that is why I opened up this venue back in the day before I was married and had 4 children, which took all the rest of my time. But that does keep kids away from alcohol, but it also means that they lose out on a lot of other experiences that they could be having. And so now teenagers have very few places to gather. Councilor Caldwell, when you were mentioning earlier about where can they go? Well, there's not really a whole lot of places. I would bet that between everybody in this room, we can't come up with 10 places for all of our teenagers to go to and be at after 9 o'clock, aside from parking lots, movies, and a bowling alley. And so what we've done is we're trying to get a group together, and we have successfully spoken with several stakeholders that have been working on a solution. So we're exploring the development of a multi-purpose youth music, arts, recreation, and mentorship center. It's not just a music venue, but a place where young people can participate in live music, arts, gaming, tutoring, workforce development, mentoring programs, and recreational activities. Now, as chair of the Crime Prevention Board, we have already begun conversations with many nonprofit partners that are already doing some work. Community leaders, public safety. We met with CPD just the other day on how some of this programming, mentorship, and security could work together. Now, we're not asking you for anything here today. One of the long-term goals would be to bring back midnight basketball during the summer months, create positive activities during the later hours. We believe will decrease juvenile incidents. Music, sports, arts, skateboarding, and other activities happening simultaneously means lots and lots of kids from all different walks of life in the same ethos. And it just, in my opinion, it doesn't get any better than that. That's how you learn to appreciate and respect each other and things that they're into. Along with multiple real estate companies right now, we're reviewing a short list of potential locations here in Columbus that would be feasible, accessible, and appropriate for this type of facility. And the goal is simple, to reduce unsupervised gatherings by creating supervised opportunities, and to build relationships instead of barriers, and to create engagement instead of isolation. I think if you guys remember anything that I say today, please remember this. A curfew may tell young people where they cannot be. A youth center gives them somewhere they want to be. And now that we've decided where our youth should not go, I believe that this body should equally be invested in places where they can belong. And that's why I'm here today. I'd like to come back every 90 days, somewhere in there, to kind of share progress, invite feedback, and to keep collaboration going. And of course, if anybody here wants to participate and aid in this effort, which I believe everybody in this room should, my email is very simple, dannyvotes@gmail.com. That's like voting for the president, dannyvotes@gmail.com. We'd love to have some more meetings with some local stakeholders and see where this takes us. But it's going in the great, so far in a positive direction.
Thank you, Mr. Arancibia. Thank you for your efforts. Well, there. Counselor Davis.
Yeah, Mr. Arancibia, I know you don't have to come back up here, but I just want to make a note here. In our early days when I got to know you, Danny used to be a youth pastor, and at the same time we used to, well, at the time we were working immensely with our abused and abandoned and neglected children. Danny put on a lot of events, I remember, that were very successful and very focused, and I believe that's exactly what he's talking about, is reigniting those kind of efforts. And I just want to remind people how successful those events were. You got a lot of kids, a lot of youth to show up at those events. You remember those days, right? Yeah. So I know, I know what you're thinking, and I support that effort to try to make something like that happen, because I remember those days and it was very, very positive. I hated to see it kind of just pause or cease, but bringing it back is a good thing. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next is Dr. Marvin Broadwater Sr. regarding landlords and property owners doing better. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good morning. My name is Dr. Marvin Broadwater Sr. I live in the 31909 zip code. Greetings, Mr. Mayor, members of City Council, Madam City Manager, Mr. City Attorney, administration staff, and citizens of the greater Columbus area. I pray all of you are well. Welcome all to the most electrifying cornerstone day in democracy, when the people have the opportunity to speak by exercising their right to vote. I promised myself nearly a year ago never to appear before this august body without bringing a solution to my observations. I'm not here to address blight as it pertains to structures in our community, as that is another conversation for another day. I'm here to address an even more compelling and prominent issue: the piles and piles of rubbish from the results of apparent evictions. We all know and are keenly aware businesses are hesitant to invest in areas with visible eyesores. These sites signal to potential employers and retail developers that a neighborhood is declining, which stalls job creation and locks communities into cycles of disinvestment. A few days ago, after purchasing a cup of coffee from the Dunkin' Donuts on Manchester Expressway, I noticed a pile of household items on the street behind the restaurant. Apparently, this was the result of an eviction. These evictions have become a complete and devastating monstrosity to our community. More often than not, we as citizens notice problems in our community and we address them here, but fail to bring you at least one viable solution to explore. From that day to this day, I began to notice and become aware of more evictions. So I decided to do more research about before presenting a solution to help with this blight in our community. After talking to the Office of Code Enforcement, Public Works, the Sheriff's Office, local contractors, and a plethora of realtors and property owners, I learned this is a complex problem, but in my opinion, the solution or the genesis to correcting this issue is rather unembellished. We all want our city to be aesthetically pleasing to our eyes. Besides, business owners looking to move their businesses here will prefer not seeing piles of household items on roadways or driveways. I was made aware of one idea presented to the council over a year ago, and that was to place a bin on the private property as an added expense to the landlord or the property owner. Several realtors and property owners convinced me that idea and the added expense would be unfair, as they would have to pass that added expense to their tenants. And I agree. I proposed a question to several citizens in search of affordable housing. Many stated that added expense would more than likely push them out of their desired housing location. The most simplistic and realistic answer to this complex problem would be to have the city place RFOs for bids to local contractors who would remove the items from the roadways. The contractor would work in tandem with the sheriff's office, scheduling pickups exactly 12 hours after all evictions. One of the major problems now, citizens come through and collect items from the discarded items of the tenant property, which adds to the problem. This council moves and reallocates funds throughout the year of the proposed budget all the time. You did it a couple of weeks ago. Allocating funds should not be a problem if you consider the real cost of the possible loss of revenue we could be losing by not doing anything. This is a serious issue in our community. You can go in District 7, District 4, you can even go in my district, District 6. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I will come back for the next 3 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next is Dr. Natalie Nicole, representing Role Model Academy of Arts. Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you for bringing that up. The Columbus Board of Realtors has, and the Property Management Committee has been trying to work this out for a long time. Unfortunately, there's a law on the books that makes us keep those items there for 24 hours. We've tried to work with the sheriff. We've worked with Public Works, and what the Columbus Board of Realtors would prefer is if, when we have to meet the sheriff's deputy out there, we would like to be able to put them in a truck and take them away right then and there, because we consider the 7-day notice of eviction as over 24 hours notice that they're going to be evicted. But the law is, kind of vague. And so we'd like to have that clarified so that when we come with the sheriff's deputy and with our movers, that we can just take care of it. And instead of putting it on the lawn, we can just put it in our truck and take it away. Because it is ultimately the landlord's, well, first, it's the tenant's responsibility. It's the tenant's items. Secondly, it's the landlord's responsibility because it is the landlord's property. And so I don't necessarily want that to become the city's issue. It needs to stay where it belongs. And so we're trying to work with legislation to clarify that language so that their items, when we remove it, they can be removed from the property at that time. Right now, there's at least a 24-hour delay. So I'll be happy to talk to you afterwards,
right.
because maybe together we can work on this.
All right, good. All right, well, we're going to move on to our next speaker, Dr. Natalie Nicole. Welcome, ma'am. Please just state your name and your city or county of residence.
Good morning, sir. Dr. Natalie Nicole, Columbus, Georgia, District 7, 31901. Over the past several weeks, I have been in contact with the city back and forth to gain clarification regarding the ADA compliance and accessibility. This morning, I'd like to know whether the city has a designated ADA coordinator as contemplated by Title 28 of the Code of Federal Regulations, Sections 35107, and where citizens can find the city's ADA grievance procedure for accommodations involving public meetings, public participation, and public government services. While our clerk is absolutely excellent, she does a wonderful job, this is not her job. This is not her duty description. And she's been the main person that a lot of our disabled family has had to contact as it regards these public meetings. Title 28 of the Code of Federal Regulations, Sections 35.101, requires public entities with more than 50 employees to designate at least one employee, not a commission, employee, to coordinate its efforts to comply with and carry out its responsibilities under the American with Disabilities Act. I've confirmed this information with the state. Her information, her contact information is in the packet that I provided you here. This requirement applies to citizens assessing public services, not solely employees. So while I understand that Metro has a ADA officer and that your HR has a ADA officer, that's for your employees. What I've been trying to figure out is what do you have for your citizens, those who attend these meetings and anything else that applies to us within this government. Title II of the ADA governs public meetings, public buildings, elections, public transportation, government services, boards and commissions, public participation, and processes. There are often times that citizens will tell me that they cannot hear you all, and they wish that they could see closed captioned on the screens. I was just in here last night with the school board. The timer is on these big screens for people to see. And that's a great idea. I think it should be implemented over across the way for us. Now, I understand that you do have a mayor's commission for persons with disabilities. To be clear, I'm not questioning the value of that commission. However, I have contacted them, emailed them. They have not responded to me. I will be attending the meeting today at 12 at City Hall so that I can introduce myself in person. There's a significant difference between an advisory board commission and an ADA coordinator as the state requires. I won't go into the details of specifically because I can't see no time up here, so I don't know how much time I have. But there's a difference between a commission and a coordinator. And a coordinator should be an employee, not volunteers. And so part of the problem of them not responding is that they're not an employee. So they're not held accountable to have to respond. Typically, they're not the same roles. And while they're very extremely valuable to the city, to our citizens, they do not automatically satisfy the requirement to designate an employee responsible for ADA compliance coordination. And so specifically, I request clarification following, do we have a coordinator, an employee? Do we have a responsible person that's in charge of compliance and grievance procedures. What's the name of that person? Where can the city citizens find grievance procedures publicly available? If you look at the document I gave you on the state website, they provide a form, a complaint form, and they also provide instructions on the front. Where can we find those things for us here locally? Let's see. And what process exists besides having to contact our clerk of council to request accommodations, or this commission to request accommodations at our meetings, our elections, and things of that nature? A lot of things are outdated, okay? And an ADA compliance officer would make sure that those things were not outdated. And so the commission does not work for the government, they're volunteers, and therefore we're missing and falling in the gap.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
want my 3 minutes.
You can
Thank
have
you.
it. Thank you very much. All right, next is Mr. Gregory Foster regarding the curfew. Ms. Foster, welcome.
My name is Gregory Foster. I reside in the Chathamwood subdivision, Columbus, Georgia, 31907. I actually tried to stay out of this one, but I feel compelled to speak. Please give me a moment to explain. I have visited Washington, D.C. quite a bit. Whenever I go, I always make sure to visit the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial to pay my respects. This is the nation's monument to law enforcement officers who died in the line of duty. These officers made the ultimate sacrifice in order to protect and serve the people. One of the officers so honored is Columbus Police Department Patrolman Charles Edward Osborne Jr., badge number 686. He was murdered on August 8th, 1994. At the time, he had been with CPD for just over 5 years. He was 31 years old when he died. He is survived by his wife and 2 daughters. Here's what happened. Officer Osborne detained 2 male juveniles, 13 and 15. Rather than process the incident for action, Officer Osborne elected to just give the kids a ride home. Officer Osborne did not handcuff the kids, he just put them in the back of his patrol car and took them home. While Officer Osborne was letting the juveniles out of the patrol vehicle, the 15-year-old pulled a pistol he had hidden in his trousers and shot Officer Osborne in the back of the head. Officer Osborne died 3 days later. The 15-year-old juvenile was arrested, convicted of murder, and sentenced to life in prison. In the blink of an eye, 6 lives were destroyed because of a curfew violation. So, as this council and citizens debate the curfew issue, I ask that everyone not go on Facebook or Google or hear something from a coworker or your fishing buddy or the lady you sit next to in church, and then all of a sudden start believing that you know more about law enforcement than our police chief. Both Chief Mathis and Sheriff Countryman are part of the master class in this field. So if Chief Mathis says he needs a curfew as part of his crime suppression strategy, then implement the curfew when and where he asks for it. Give him what he asks for, nothing more and nothing less. Some of you forget that not too long ago, this city was being called Columbus due to the murders that were taking place in Columbus and Muskogee County. Chief Mathis, Sheriff Countryman, and the officers like those that secured this very building saved the city, and they risked their lives while doing so. None of us should ever forget the sacrifices our Georgia peace officers make to safeguard us and everything we value. Also, whether some people like it or not, Uptown Columbus is a special zone in the city. It is not necessary for every part of the city to be regulated the same way. In fact, it might be a tactical error to police every part of the city the same. Some parts of a jurisdiction may require a more proactive approach, while a reactive response works better for other parts of the jurisdiction. And the people that are most qualified to determine the best strategy is Chief Mathis and Sheriff Countryman. Of course, the city council and the mayor should provide oversight. And all of us citizens should support all of them. Finally, for those of you that don't know, this is what's going on with our kids in Uptown. These kids gather in order to do takeovers that are prearranged on social media. They just want to bum rush the venue, record each other pulling stunts, and put it on social media to rep their city. They want to be fleek, like the kids say these days. It does not mean that these are bad kids, but a few of them may be. Chief Mathis needs our support. If we don't give him our support, what will undoubtedly happen is that the stunts that these kids pull will get more and more dangerous as the kids try to outdo each other and outdo kids from other locations who also are posting videos online. So please, just give Chief Mathis exactly what he asked for, nothing more and nothing less. And to all the people, including members of this council, that point out that kids don't have a place to go, you should support building the data center. Doing so would provide millions of dollars in tax revenue and corporate sponsorship that could be used to build a downtown, a version of uptowns, geared toward kids, perhaps on the south or the east side of Columbus, where we do the most good. It amazes me how so many people, including some members of this council, are still willing to just jump on bandwagons, but essentially vote against your own interests and the interests of your constituents. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. All right, next, Ms. Teresa Elamine, representing Southern Anti-Racism Network.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In the way of further introduction, I do live in District 3. I consider myself a mass movement organizer since 1965, Lowndes County, Alabama, working with people who had never voted before because they were Black, but that county, 80% Black. I am speaking on social movements and why they must not be betrayed. There was a movement for subpoena power here, and I watched number 8 in the middle of a meeting go over and whisper to number 1. And number 1 made a compromise in that movement, and the movement died. It was betrayed. That is my memory of what happened. And number 8 represents police officers. He should have recused himself. And on the issue of the new movement that I'm wearing my red t-shirt for, I just want to say to the movement, it takes 3 things to build a successful social movement. It takes leaders, people who are willing to do the planning, do the legal work, and in this case of the social movement for no data center, it means people who are willing to get the legal work together, and I do have my own timer, by the way, and who are willing to do the work of what the environmental impact will be. If you have a phone, take it out now and Google Project Ruby. When you Google Project Ruby, what you will see that it is a proposed $5.18 billion AI hyperscale data center for northeastern Muskogee County. Project Ruby does exist. The land developer is called Habitat Real Estate Partners. It is backed by Choose Columbus. Choose Columbus is the official of development entity for this. So don't let people lie to you. Don't let people try to bamboozle you. Project Ruby is a thing, and they just cleared the first hurdle. The UDO, that's the first hurdle. The next hurdle is getting to the planning department and getting the rezoning. When I spoke with Darlene Laird and Mindy Avery on Monday, I asked them, how did y'all get all these red shirts and how did you pay for this? And they explained they did a GoFundMe. So they dropped my shirt and a sign by my house. And I know that they have money. It's difficult for most social movements to raise the kind of money they've been raising, but they raised the money. And I want to tell them that Georgia Power not showing up here is for a reason. Because Georgia Power is already got their plan. Columbus Waterworks, they told their plan. Don't let people lie to you and bamboozle you because they have already betrayed you. Number 6 represents Upatoy. He's already betrayed you. If he doesn't get the 6 votes for the moratorium, understand he's betrayed you. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. They have already betrayed you if they don't work for the moratorium. Just be clear about who your enemies are and who your allies are. And know that I am with you 100%. 100%. I will come back for the 3 minutes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right. Next is Ms. Pamela Moss regarding whose best interest is being represented. Ms. Moss? Okay. All right, so she is not here. Ms. Haley Sargent regarding the data center overlay. Welcome, ma'am. If you would just state your name and what city or county you live in.
My name's Haley Sargent, live here in Columbus off Macon Road. And I don't really have anything groundbreaking to say today. Y'all have made your decision, but I have seen some things recently and I thought we should talk about it. Counselor Crabb, this was something you actually stated, I believe yesterday, but maybe in the last few days, but leadership isn't about having a pre-planned opinion on every issue. It's about listening, analyzing, and thinking independently, especially being willing to consider different perspectives to find the best solution for our community. This is why I believe city government is strongest when council is made up of leaders who bring independent judgment and balanced perspectives, not a group focused on the same predetermined outcome. So I would like to ask y'all, well, I guess I can't ask y'all questions because y'all haven't responded. It looks like we're looking at a council that y'all already made your decision. So Ms. Crabb, I just want us to say we have to hold ourselves to the same standard that we're holding other people to. And that's what we're looking for. We are looking for those few people that are not afraid to speak up and kind of say what everyone else is thinking, not just going with what your buddy's doing. We're not seeing that. And the few people who are speaking up, we just don't have enough of those to turn these votes. And this is what we're looking at. The overlay does not protect the citizens, nor does it protect us. Y'all have to live here too, you know. That's what's really confusing about all of this is y'all do have to live here. Y'all will see the impacts of this data center. Even if it's not in your backyard, you will see it. You will feel it. Your grandkids, your kids, what are y'all leaving for them? What life are y'all leaving for them? I really want you to think about that in the decisions you're making going forward, what this world's going to look like based on your decisions. And it's kind of hard to believe anything that's been said because everyone who spoke in agreement will also financially benefit from this. That's why we don't trust you. That's why we don't, when you bring up the waterworks company, they say, well, it's only going to use 1/3 of our water. Do we really have that to lose? I mean, they say that's what they're going to use, but even in Atlanta, they took way more than what was agreed to. And who, you know, the residents had to pay for that in the meantime. Will they get paid back? Probably not. It's just a bad business deal. It really is. There's the return on the investment's not there. It's very not studied enough because these things are very new. They're just popping up left and right. It's a bad deal. So it's confusing when y'all keep talking about it like it's going to benefit the city in any way. It's not. It's not bringing the jobs y'all are mentioning. It's bringing a lot of those tech jobs. They outsource those to somewhere else where they can pay people less. If it's an online job, that's what they're going to do. It's not going to bring the jobs that you're looking for. Who can go out to Harris County and look at that land and say, you know what? That's a great place to put a data center. These trees, we don't need them. Somebody actually posted today, when everything went paperless, the whole part of it was save trees. Let's go paperless. Now let's take the trees down to keep the paperless. It's a bad deal. And that's why when we're up, you see us getting really upset about this because we're looking for y'all to say, hey, you know what? This is a bad deal. We shouldn't do this. And it's just not happening. We should follow suit of what other cities have done, which has placed a moratorium. That didn't happen today. But this is truly just not smart. I mean, I'm only 32. I still have much to learn in this world, and I truly understand that. And it's much easier for me to judge you from this place than it is to be sitting there. I get that. We need y'all to speak up for us, and it's not happening. It's just not happening. And it's going to destroy our environment, our water, our power bills. People are really stressed right now just trying to survive. I don't think many people in Columbus can afford much more higher power, water bills, anything. But it's much different coming from a place where you're not worried about those things even right now. Like you're paying your bill, you're okay. So a lot of these problems don't exist to y'all. And that's why it's truly out of touch. It really is. Y'all are not representing your constituents right now. You're representing yourselves, your pockets. The other people who are in cahoots with this, the power company, the water company, just stop. You can change your perspective today. You can come in here tomorrow and say, hey, we made a bad decision. We're gonna undo this. Y'all have the capability to do that. And we really just hope y'all end up on the right side of things with this, because you will have to answer to your own kids, your own grandkids about the decisions that you make. So I hope y'all feel good about that. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, and that is the public agenda. We'll move to the city manager's agenda. Deputy City Manager.
Good morning, Mayor, members of council. We do have one add-on item that we'll be passing out that I'll go over. Item number 1 is a risk management legal services. This is approval for.
There's a motion and a second to approve item 1, the risk management services. Any questions or comments on that? All right, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? All right, that's approved. Second. All right, we have a motion to move approval of all of the purchases. Motion and a second. Anybody would like to have pulled?
I just want to ask about that.
Okay, we'll pull that out then, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So there's a motion second to approve A, B, C, D, E, and G. All in favor of those, please say aye. Any opposed? All right, Deputy Manager.
So let me read through those. Item A is a contract extension for elevator maintenance services, and that will go through September 30th. It is out for bid currently. Item B is contract extension for post-accident drug screenings after hours. That will go through August 30th. That is also out for bid currently. Item C is a contract amendment for inmate food management services. This is to increase the per meal cost. Item 4 is 4 salt sand tailgate spreaders and hydraulic system upfit for Public Works. Item E is 4 washer extractors for Muskogee County Prison. And then item G is grant writing services for an annual contract to be used as needed. I'll go back to item F, which is mold removal and remediation services. This is for the mold remediation that was done at the Liberty Theater and also at Frank Chester Recreation Center, a total of $730,670. We did have extensive mold in the Liberty Theater for $670,000, and then also some mold removal at Frank Chester in the amount of $60,000.
Okay, Councilor Kogle.
You answered my question, so I'll make a motion to accept F.
All right, there's a motion to approve F. Is there a second?
Oh, sorry.
We got a motion and a second, but I vote
I thought okay. All right, well, those are,
A through E and G.
all right, we'll just include F in that because we've got so all those in favor of approval of the purchases, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Then I do have one add-on item, which is the hazard mitigation grant application from Emergency Management.
All right, there's a motion second to approve the add-on. Any discussion on that item? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
And this is to update the Muskogee County Hazard Mitigation Plan, and this was time sensitive. I apologize for not having that listed on the agenda today.
Okay.
And we do have several updates today. First, as a referral to provide an update on the Columbus Uptown Pickleball Complex, we have Director Ryan Pruitt that will go through kind of where we're at on the Uptown Pickleball facility.
Good morning, Mayor, members of council. Have a presentation to run through for the pickleball. I don't see a clicker up here, so I don't know if there is one or. But as Deputy City Manager Hodge mentioned, requested to do an update, so wanted to provide council an update on the complex. So a little bit of the history of the project, started out as a idea really by the Columbus Pickleball Association that came to the city requesting a public-private partnership to develop this complex. They identified some property at 1641 3rd Avenue, which is directly east of the 2nd Avenue Bridge there at Railroad Street. They acquired that property and demolished the existing structures on it. Also, prior to the city's involvement, they developed a concept plan for that parcel to include 24 courts, which was really jamming as many courts as they could onto that parcel, as well as 4 courts to be installed under the 2nd Avenue Bridge. As the project developed, City Council authorized using some general fund reserves totaling about $4 million. And in addition to that, TAD funding of $2.6 million was also authorized to go towards this project. So City Council awarded a design build contract to Brassfield & Gorey on December 9th, 2025. The kickoff meeting for this project was held on January 26th with Brassfield & Gorey, the Pickleball Association, Parks and Recreation, and other city staff. And during that meeting, there's a lot of discussion about what the complex should look like. Everybody agreed we wanted to provide as much playing opportunity for the public as we could, but it also needed to have some amenities, some social areas. When there's a tournament going on, the players need a little bit of area to spread out, to hang out in between their matches. Pickleball is a very social game, so the original concept plan was adjusted a little bit to achieve all those goals. And so we agreed to move forward with a plan that includes 21 courts on the main parcel, 16 covered courts, 4 outdoor courts, and 1 championship court. Brassfield & Gorey has continued design activities. They presented some budgetary pricing in April. Project team got together, we reviewed that, and then we authorized Brassfield to complete the design activities. And based on that April pricing, the 4 courts under the 2nd Avenue Bridge are not in the current scope. Due to budget constraints, the pricing for the 21 courts alone and everything on that main parcel takes up the entire budget here, kind of spelled out of the $7.4 million that we have to complete this project. So you see again, general fund right at $4 million, TAD at 2.6. We are proposing to use some OLOS infrastructure money to help with some of the parking areas. The Pickleball Association does have about $382,000 left towards this project, and it should be noted that the Pickleball Association, at an estimated cost of $950,000, acquired the property and did the original demolition. So here's the current layout, the current site plan that we are moving forward with, and it's currently moving towards final design, pricing. So in the big purple area, that's the 16 covered courts. The blue area, that's the 4 outdoor courts. The pink at the bottom is the championship court. You can see the restrooms, pro shop, concession building in the middle there. And then there is a small maintenance building for Parks and Rec to be able to store everything that they need to in order to maintain the facility. So next steps, the current schedule is for design activities to be completed next month in July, and then construction would proceed after we get permits and everything. So scheduled to start in August of 26. Tentatively, completion date would be for next summer, so about this time next year, we'd be getting close to wrapping everything up. We do need to bring back the property donation and MOU between the city and the Pickleball Association back to council. So that'll be really the next step. And I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Sorry.
Just kidding. Good.
Get you.
Thanks, Mr. Pruitt, for bringing this back. This has been a project that has been going on now for some time, for some years now, and a lot of our other communities around in our region have been developing complexes very similar to this as well. And this happens to be the fastest growing sport in the U.S. currently. One of the reasons that this portion of land was purchased was because of the uniqueness of having those pickleball courts under the 2nd Avenue Bridge. And that was to provide shade and access to the TSIS parking lot, and to just create a good flow of traffic through that footprint for the pickleball people to come in. A lot of them travel with their bikes. They're very walkable. And that was one of the selling points of this footprint. How much are the 4 courts that are being removed from under the 2nd Avenue Bridge? What is the cost that is associated with that?
So the estimate we have to install those, should include the courts, the playing surface, lighting, pretty much everything to make them functional. The 4 courts under was $600,000.
Is that, we have a lot of projects and we value engineer a lot of them. And I feel pretty strongly that if we're going to do a project like this, that it needs to be done properly with the best accessibility. And like I said, this was one of the selling points of this footprint. What would the funding options be, Deputy City Manager, for the city to be able to fund that $600,000? Is there money in the Midtown TAD, or what are some options other than bringing it out of the general fund?
So it's not part of the Midtown TAD. It's part of
Oh, yeah,
the
that's right.
2nd Avenue City Village TAD. And I'll have to defer to the finance director. If there's funding available in the TAD, we would have to go back through the process again with the TAD Advisory Committee. Our goal always is to try to remain within the budget that's been approved by council. And so that's what we have tried to do as a team. We've worked with the Pickleball Association, Parks and Recreation, the contractor, Director Pruitt supervising the project, and we try to remain within the budget, and we want as much as we can get. So we'll have to look at if there's other funding sources available, what the balance available is in the TAD, and if there are other funding sources. We did recommend to use about $450,000 out of the OLOST infrastructure to subsidize this project. For the paving portion of this, we're going to have to really repave all of the streets surrounding this and restrike them. So we did try to utilize as many funding sources as we could to bring this project forward. And so we'll have to look at if we have a funding source
Would
to
you be
add
able to
those
do that?
courts under the bridge.
Yeah, I mean, if possible, if you wouldn't mind, looking at some options to be able to do this project right the first time, because I have a feeling if we outgrow, this complex, that we're always going to wish that we had the 4 courts underneath, and to come back and do that 4 courts underneath is just gonna cost us triple or double the cost that we did the first time. So if you don't mind doing that, that would be great.
Yes, we'll look into that.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Coach Davis?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to echo the comments by Councilor Kogel. I do agree. I think, there may be some opportunities in the discretionary funds, whereas T-Splots, O-Splots, the TAD district to be able to pull that all together. Maybe if not for pickleball courts, maybe you can offset some of the infrastructure cost that's involved, even more extensive to kind of come up with that money. But I do agree. I think it's going to be a disaster to come back and try to fix that aspect of it. I do agree. It's kind of like a gateway coming from the uptown area, Total Systems campus, that area. And certainly the cost is, in my mind, it's going to quadruple to do something like that and have to come back and do that. And then the disruption is going to be even more. Now, I think some of the staying within the budget, I think there were some additional amenities that were added, the city's decision on that. And I'm okay with that, that got it to that number. And now you're going to need a little bit more to stay to finish the project. But I think if we're going to do it, and need to do it right, I believe the Dragonfly Trails has a plan to even come through there. There's a lot of aspects of that need to be dealt with. And like I said, if you come back and do that later, it's going to be a major disruption, and certainly it's going to be an excessive change order. So I think the right thing to do is go ahead and finish the project, get it completed, and move forward.
Is there, I know at one time there was a big fundraiser that capital campaign that the pickleball organization was putting on. Is that still in progress?
We can follow up with the Pickleball Association, but Mr. Mayor, you are correct. This was a public-private partnership that when it originally started, the city's contribution was 1.6 million to that project. And now we are the majority funder for that project. And we do have other facilities that require maintenance. And so our goal was to stay within the budget that had been allocated by city council, but we will look at alternative fundings.
Yeah, I agree. We want to get it right the first time, but I know that the city has stepped up a number of times to try to keep it moving. So it may be a good opportunity to re-huddle with the pickleball group, and let's try to put together a capital campaign package, because I think that might be a quicker way with both of us working on that funding to meet in the middle. All right. That's it.
Thank you, Director Pruitt. Next on the updates, we do have 2 departments that are coming forward in accordance with Ordinance 13-39. And I'll let the Finance Director provide an overview for both Jim Arndt from the Golf Authority as well as David Britt from the Tax Commissioner's Office.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I think first up is the golf.
Yes.
I brought all my stuff because I think I'm sort of ending the city manager's agenda here. So the Gulf Authority is here, subject to ordinance 13-39 that says that if they anticipate they will need additional budget appropriations, or they anticipate that they will exceed their current budgeted appropriations, they do have to come before the council and request additional appropriations. Of course, the Gulf Authority is self-sufficient in that they are an enterprise fund. So their revenues do support their expenditures from an operational standpoint, but it is the council that does set the budget, establishes the budget. So they do still have to abide by that law in terms of budgetary control. So Jim Arndt, the executive director for the Gulf Authority, is here subject to ordinance 13-39. And it is a combination of two things in reference to ordinance 13-39. For the Oxbow Creek, there is a utilization of salary savings that they would like to use for operational expenses this year. So there is no increase or adjustment to the budget appropriation for Oxbow Creek, but there is an adjustment for Bull Creek. So Jim?
Good morning. So for, as Angelica was saying, for fiscal year 26, for Oxbow Creek, what we're requesting is to move $55,000 from salary savings to operations. It's just simple. And then for Bull Creek, we are requesting to increase the budget appropriation by $216,000. And again, as Angelica said, this is, funding is provided by revenues for Bull Creek Golf Course. That's the request.
Move approval. Motion second to approve. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, that's approved. And Mr. Arndt, we need to get you in and talk about the PGA Hope program that you've got running out there. That is an incredible program for veterans, and when we have more time, we'll bring you back and.
It'd be my pleasure. We're changing lives and saving lives.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the next department or elected office is the tax commissioner's office. The tax commissioner unfortunately had, oh, you are here? Okay, yes, sir. He is also here subject to ordinance 13-39. And it is another situation where he is not requesting additional appropriations. It is salary savings that he is requesting. So, Mr. Tax Commissioner.
Good morning. I'm requesting about $64,000 as a reallocation from salary savings. This is due to an increase in the postage and advertising costs, due to an increase in the volume of our tax sales and the amount of mailings to our delinquent taxpayers. We have addressed this cost in our upcoming budget to mitigate it going forward.
Second. Motion second to approve. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Are there any opposed? All right, it's approved.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
And we do have two final updates, both from the finance director, the revenue update, and then the monthly finance update.
Okay. So it's been a few months since I gave the last revenue division update. But this is an update for the second quarter of 2026. In terms of the number of licenses processed, this is up through week 23. We are at 6,281 licenses processed for 2026. This is about a 2% increase over the number of licenses processed for 2025. So more licenses processed for 2026 for the same period of time for 2025. So good progress there. In terms of what is currently in our lockbox, just as a refresher, the lockbox is managed by a third-party vendor through our bank that is currently Synovus Bank. So when you mail in your occupation tax renewals, They do go to an address in North Carolina. That third-party vendor opens the mail. They process the checks, and they direct deposit the checks into the city's concentration account. Those checks that they cannot process, they do overnight those unprocessable items to the city, and then we would directly deposit those items that they could not process. So currently listed in our lockbox as problems, we have about 201 problems. That amounts to about $989,000 currently. Problems are those accounts that we have attempted to process, but there is some issue that we encountered when we were in the processing process. There was no signature on the form, or they were missing documentation or some sort of paperwork. We've sent out a letter to the business identifying what the issue is and requesting that they provide us that documentation so that we can continue with processing the account. We have 57 items that were as of the 8th of June, still pending. That was through the mail that we received through the 8th. So that was what we would consider to be still in process. Those are the items that we haven't yet processed. So fairly current in terms of the lockbox that we have there. The current to be processed is about 200, and we're working the mail, the lockbox every single day. So I'm sure that number will be down by the end of this week, because our 2026 renewal process is current. What we plan to do and what we are currently doing is we're reviewing all the pending problems right now, and we are making secondary contact. And so we're actually emailing, and we're picking up the phone, and we're calling those businesses where we have a problem, and hoping that they will respond to the letter that they received from us before we send out those courtesy delinquent notices. And because again, we are planning to send out those courtesy delinquency notices ahead of schedule this year. This is the second consecutive year in which we're sending out those notices ahead of schedule. They are typically sent out in August, but we plan to send those out no later than July 1st. So the response date that will be in those notices will be July 21st of 2026. And by the end of July, for those accounts that have not renewed their licenses, we're going to turn those over to code enforcement. Also, just as a reminder, the Civic Access Self-Portal is live and available for reporting and remitting excise taxes. So you can pay your, what we refer to as mixed drinks, which is also your 3% liquor tax online, hotel motel taxes, vehicle rental taxes, alcohol distributor excise taxes. All of those excise taxes can be paid online. We have a QR code that is up in our office that references the webpage for the Civic Access Self-Service Portal. If you'd like to know if a business currently has a license, you can go out to the Civic Access Portal or the CAS portal and check it out. You can search by address, you can search by business name, and you can see if that business has a current 2026 license. The web address to the CAS portal is listed there on the slide deck. In terms of the revenue, this chart here just shows the year-over-year increases in the occupation tax revenue. So year-to-date for FY26, right now we're at about $18.5 million in revenue for occupation taxes. So we're on track to either to meet, I guess I should say, be fairly close to meeting where we were, where we ended, I guess I should say, FY25. So for 2026 and beyond, Obviously, we're going to continue working towards automation to improve some of our efficiencies within the office. Earlier this year, we did implement internally some improvements, which was the auto calculation of our taxes and fees for penalties and interest. The staff up front, they love that automation. It makes it so much easier for them in terms of processing. It takes out, for the most part, the manual calculations for them. So we are, continuously looking for ways to make improvements, and we've made a lot of good improvements internally. But one of the things that we keep sort of bumping our head against is the online renewals. And I know it's a challenge for us, quite frankly. Without us doing something dramatic, such as changing the code to get rid of the credits, which is expensive, or getting rid of the quarterly option. Those types of things, but working with what we have, we've met with the vendor, twice. They were here earlier this year. And, we've just got to do something different. So now what we're doing, we're pivoting. So we're collaborating with IT, and we're looking to migrate to a new software system. One of the things that, we sort of have done in terms of research is, Atlanta, the city of Atlanta was the largest user of the current software system that we are using. But they put out an RFP, and they are using a new software system. The software system looks very similar to the system that is utilized by the state in terms of the Georgia Tax Center. We have requested the RFP from Atlanta, and we are looking to see if it's something that we can piggyback off of. So we are working it to that end, and we'll see, what that looks like in terms of the cost. And the next bit of information that you'll get from me in terms of an update will be what the cost would be in terms of us migrating to a new software system that could potentially do the things that we needed to do in terms of capturing those credits and being able to handle a different frequency in terms of payments. So, because if the software that Atlanta is using, if it is very similar to what the state has as far as the sales tax reporting, I think it is something that could work for us in terms of what we currently have established as far as the code. Because I do know as far as thank you. I do know as far as the Georgia Tax Center, it does have the ability to capture credits. And you can make frequency, different types of payments in terms of frequency. You can make monthly payments even. I mean, you're supposed to make monthly payments as far as the sales taxes. So we're pivoting. And that, in a nutshell, is the update in terms of the revenue. And I'd be happy to take any questions if you have them.
All right, Councilor Cogle.
Thank you, Ms. Alexander, for the update. I'm happy to see that we're moving towards automation. One of the questions or concerns that I'm getting from some business owners is if they own multiple businesses, like Airbnbs or some of these larger entities that have more than 3 entities, when they go to renew their business licenses, they are only being allowed to renew 3 at a time before they have to go to the back of the line. Is there a way that they can renew all of the businesses that they bring at the time that they get to the window rather than just 3 at a time?
Well, it's not actually 3. It's a little more than 3, but they can always drop it off to us and we can process all of the license renewals that they have, and we can call them when it's ready for it to be picked up. Dropping it off to us allows us the time to process all of the tax returns that they have, and we can spread that out amongst the staff and it not put others in a situation where they're waiting for a very long time for us to get through with processing all the returns that, you know, someone just brought to us
Sure.
at the window.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's maybe just a little bit of a breakdown of communication between business owner and our staff. And so I yield to you on how you can communicate that. So,
Yes, we'll communicate that a little better if we're lacking in the communication of that.
okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I got it, Mayor.
Melissa?
Thank you very much, Mayor. Director, I just want to say thank you for the phone calls. You know, as a business owner, I think it gets real complex sometimes. It's easy to make mistakes, miss dotting the I's and scratching the T's. And I know we have to do our job, you do in your department, in making sure we cover all the bases to make those deposits. You got 201 problems. Relying on the mail has not been very sufficient in the past, and it's caused delay. It helps us to do the right thing for us, but also just to make sure that we have a culture that's not letting our businesses fail. We need them like they need us in the city government. I just want to say thank you. To me, that feels like a change. It's been hard. Some of us use third party and mail doesn't always deliver consistently. I just wanted to say thanks for making the extra effort to make those calls. That makes a difference.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
I want to thank you for your tenacity. I know that we asked you, you know, to come up with a way that these businesses could pay quarterly. And I know that that was a heavy lift for you. And I just really want to emphasize how much we appreciate that you kept going and you kept looking for different ways and you pivoted and we really, really appreciate that. And it doesn't go unnoticed that sometimes we ask you for things that are very difficult to accomplish. And so, you know, now that you've showed that you're really working at getting that done, I wanted to express my appreciation for that.
Thank you,
Yes,
ma'am. No other questions?
So we'll move right over with Director Alexander and to the finance update.
All right. So what's been passed out is the May financial snapshot, comparing May of 2026 to May of 2025. And so just starting to the right of the snapshot with the revenue for the operating funds in the general fund. General fund is up 6.27%. This is largely due to an increase in property tax revenue from the millage reallocation that was approved as part of the FY26 budget. The other local option sales tax fund up 1%. Stormwater fund is up 4.86%. Again, this is a tax-supported fund. It is largely due to the property taxes, the associated penalties and interest earnings. You've heard the tax commissioner say they had a large tax sales and collections on the delinquent properties. So we are receiving those delinquent taxes. So for the paving fund, it is also tax supported. It's up 3.78%. This is, again, largely due to property tax revenue and associated penalties and interest. The community care fund, down 44.47%. This is due to the millage reallocation. that was approved as part of the FY26 budget. Integrated waste, up 15.36%, because of the fee increase for the residential fees that was approved as part of the budget. The emergency telephone fund, or the E911 fund that we refer to, it is flat. There's virtually no change there year over year, comparing May this year to May of last year. There's only a difference about $140. I don't think I've ever seen it to where it's just flat. The Economic Development Authority fund is up 2.25%. Again, this fund is tax supported. The debt service fund up 12.73%. This is due to a slight increase in the debt service millage, or based on the reallocation of millage, I guess I should say, in FY26, and additional transfers to cover those debt service payments for some leases that we implemented in FY26. The transportation fund up 9.86%. This is just a timing issue as far as the revenues that we receive from the Metro, from the federal grants, as well as TIA, as well as the property tax revenue that is deposited into that fund. For the Trade Center Fund, that's up 3.83%. This is due to an increase in hotel motel tax, beer tax revenue, and space rental revenue. Bull Creek Golf Course Fund up 18.92%. Golf operations and sale of merchandise accounts for that increase. Oxbow Creek Golf Course Fund up 8.16%. This is due to, again, golf operations and snack bar sales. And then the Civic Center Fund is up 4.28%. This is, again, due to hotel motel tax revenue, and then event revenue relative to hockey, football, and concessions. Moving down the snapshot to the current year expenditures versus the prior year expenditures, the general fund is up 2.04%. And again, this is due to personnel costs and operating expenses for some of our purchased and contracted services, and our cost allocations for risk management. The OLOS fund, or other local option sales tax fund, down 7.94%. This is because we have less capital outlay this year, as well as payments relative to Tyler, the implementation of our new records management system, and other capital for public safety. Stormwater, that fund is up 13.04%. That's due to some debt service payment for some eductor trucks that we leased in FY26. Community Care Fund down 7.98%. That's just because of the contractual payments that we paid last year for those consulting services to develop that program. Integrated Waste Fund down 3.02%. This is for operating expenses relative to auto parts and supplies and some personnel costs. The Emergency Telephone Fund down 20.19%. And again, this is relative to the computer-aided dispatch system upgrade. We don't have those expenditures this fiscal year, and we had them last year. The Economic Development Authority Fund down 32.47%. And that's just because of the prior year economic development commitments that we are not paying out this year, that we paid out last year. The Debt Service Fund up 15.80%. This is because of the increase in principal and interest payments for bonded debt, as well as leases. Transportation up 46.63%. And again, this is related to some obligations that we have for capital outlay in that fund. Purchases where we're utilizing T-SPLOS funding. There was about 10.7 million this year compared to 4.7 million last year in capital. This year's capital included the multimodal building, some bus refurbishments, as well as purchasing of new buses, both diesel and electric. The Trade Center Fund up 3.39%, and this is because they are largely using some of their reserves to complete some of authority-approved capital projects. The Bull Creek Golf Course Fund up 2.02% again, because they're using reserve funds for some capital items, as well as some equipment leases. Oxbow Creek up 4.46%. Again, this is because of additional equipment leases. And then the Civic Center Fund down 10.92%. And this is due to us not having as many purchases, or fewer purchases, I guess I should say, utilizing Friends of Columbus funds for the Civic Center. Moving to the left side of the snapshot, this is just the general fund expenditures by department. You can see here the goal is to be greater than 8%. So those departments that are less than 8% are highlighted here from a percentage standpoint in yellow. And then I've also included those departments that are over their budget. Those are now listed in red if they are over budget. So if they're less than the goal, they are, and from a percentage standpoint, they are highlighted in yellow and are on the watch list. So you may have some that are on the watch list, but not over budget. So starting with the city attorney's litigation, that is currently over, but we are obviously still defending several million in claims. Homeland Security, it is on the watch list there. In speaking with the director, we don't anticipate going over budget, still under budget as of May. So we only have June to go. And the director has advised that there's no anticipated overage for the year. The public defender on the watch list, only because we do pay the contract public defender in advance. So that typically stays on the watch list, but no concerns there from a budgetary standpoint. Probate court. Probate actually already came before the council and requested additional appropriations. So do anticipate that when we end FY 26, that the probate court will likely be over budget as we end the fiscal year. The sheriff, currently over budget, but the sheriff has also come before the council and requested additional appropriations. And then the non-categorical here, slightly over budget. And this is where we do pay for some of the settlements that are approved. So that is actually why that is currently over budget. So that, in a nutshell, is the finance update overall. From a total expenditure standpoint, we are still within the goal for the general fund. So hopefully we will balance it out and don't go over budget as we end the fiscal year. And I'll be happy to take any questions if you have them.
No questions.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That concludes the city manager's agenda.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. Next, clerk's agenda. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On the clerk's agenda, the first item we have is a current vacancy report. This outlines the more than 40 boards that we have in the city, and it lists the current vacant positions and also upcoming expiring terms. Next, after that. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Do we have a second?
Motion to receive the minutes. Is there there is a second? Any edits or any questions on any of the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, so that's approved. They're received.
And I did have a few add-on items. I have a resolution, one for Counselor Tucker and one for Counselor Huff, excusing them from the meeting today.
Motion second to approve. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed?
And the last item agenda is, add-on agenda item, is a request to declare the seat of Tracy Belt vacant on CDAC.
Motion and a second to declare that seat vacant. All in favor say aye. Any opposed?
Next, we have board appointments. The first ones are for the mayor. We have the audit committee. There is a vacancy, and this is for someone with a finance, accounting, or governmental background. We have the Columbus Sports Entertainment Authority. This vacant position is for a certified public accountant. For the Pension Fund Employees Board of Trustees, we have a vacancy for the business community rep. And for the Youth Advisory Council, we will need a nominee for that.
We're working on those. We'll get them to you.
Yes, sir, thank you. For council appointments listed for confirmation, we have the Liberty Theater and Cultural Arts Center Advisory Board. Counselor Barnes nominated Zach Lee, and he may be confirmed.
Motion second to confirm. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? He's approved.
For nominations confirmed by council, we have the Historic and Architectural Review Board. We have a vacancy for the Uptown Business Association. Next, we have council district seat appointments, and any nominations may be confirmed today. For the Community Development Advisory Council, we have a vacancy for District 1. For District 4, Counselor Tucker submitted the name of Val McGowan, and he may be confirmed.
Motion second to confirm, Mr. McGowan. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It's confirmed.
And we do have a vacancy for District 5. For the Public Safety Advisory Commission, we need a nominee for District 5. For the Youth Advisory Council, Counselor Davis has submitted the name of Mary Piper Scarborough from Calvary Christian. She may be confirmed.
Motion second to confirm. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? She's confirmed.
And we do need nominees for Districts 4, 9, and 10. For council appointments, any nominations would be listed for the next meeting. We have the Animal Control Advisory Board. There are 2 vacancies, and the board is working on recommendations to submit to our city attorney's office. For the Board of Family and Children's Services, Darlene Small, her term does expire at the end of this month, and she is eligible to succeed herself. She is interested. Mhm. Thank you, Counselor Crabb. We need a nominee for the Board of Health and the Building Authority of Columbus. For New Horizons, we still need 3 nominees for those individuals, so their terms are coming to expire, and Judge Ranieri's, whose term expired last year. For the Personnel Review Board, we need nominees for alternate member seats 1, 2, 3, and 4. And for Region 6, we need a nominee to succeed Dr. Bussey, who does not desire to be reappointed. And I did want to add very quickly that our next meeting is July 14th at 9:00 a.m. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. We have had a request for going to executive session. Before we do that, we've got a couple of people that have elected to take the 3 additional minutes. First is Dr. Marvin Brobitter, Sr. Is it not? Hit the button. There you go.
1, 2, test 1, 2, thank you. So let me give Councilor Crabb a little pushback first before I begin. And this is a legal process. The problem is, problem number 1, you don't have enough people in public works. That's number 1. Number 2 is, once those items are removed from the residents, they can go either 2 places. They can go either on private property, but once they go to the roadway, you all own it. That's the pushback I give you on that. So you are, the city council or the city is responsible once it goes on the roadway. Now, as to the law of the 24 hours, I'll be in the governor's office tomorrow morning, and I'll talk to his representative. And I'd like for you to text me that law, and I'm definitely going to bring that up tomorrow. But you all have a legislative agenda. If that has been a problem, That should have been on that legislative agenda as it goes forward to the state. These problems can be worked, some of them can be worked locally, I think. They don't have to go to the legislative agenda. You all just moved $216,000. You could contract someone for $150,000 a year to pick up these items. District 1, District 3, District 4, District 5. I live in District 6. Now I'm seeing evictions now in District 6. So this problem is not going to end, but we have to find solutions for it. And I think it's costing the city a lot of money because you all have realtors on the council. You got a pro developer. But you all have to get together so you can use those resources and that knowledge base that you all have together to solve this problem. But I thank you for that, Councilor Crabb. And I'm definitely going to bring that up tomorrow morning. I think I've covered everything that I want to cover. This problem, like I said, it's not going away. I heard the young lady talk about citizens are paying more in everything now, groceries. So if they're not paying rent, you can't find them. And I know that's what the law says and all that, but you can't find, they're not gonna pay that. Once those items go to the roadway, they're done. But the problem, when you wait that 24 hours, you have people come in and they rummage through those items. So now when Public Works gets there, it's all over the place. And just take Sunday and ride around in your district. Thank you, sir.
Sorry.
God bless you all.
God bless you, sir. Thank you.
It's me, man. Dr. Broadwater, thank you for your engagement. Thank you for your continued push. I do want to comment back because I've heard a lot over the last couple sessions, having gone through the budget session, and Ms. T advocates very well for a lot of people. You know, high revenues, high expenses causes high property tax, which is a lot of our landlords, whether we like it or not. And the more we spend, the more we raise tax, the more they raise rents. And, you know, it's a little confusing when we talk about people being evicted because a lot of times they can't afford it. We've got real issues that are real, and I respect you for bringing that up. When that stuff's pushed out on the street, it is our responsibility. The root cause of stuff being pushed on the street is not good. We will clean it up. We have to clean it up. It is going to be a total commitment with all of us. And I talk about millage, I talk about tax increases and the small business owner, and we got to somehow afford our low cost of living, our fair cost of living, not low, fair, because it's going up. I respect it. I just wanted to share that with you. There's some root causes that are beyond all fixes from us as a standalone administration, but thank you for advocating.
Thank you. All right. Next is Dr. Natalie Nicole.
I'm gonna say I'm a little frustrated about the excuses. My reason for being here on this public agenda more than 2 years ago was because of blight and illegal dumping and trash in District 7 as a small business owner. I too live in District 6, so this is not a reoccurring issue in that area. But when you contribute to economic development in the poorest zip code of the state and the city, and you do not get the help that you receive or that you need, and here today, almost 3 years later, you're working on language, I'm confused and I'm a little bit frustrated about that. And I'm tired of hearing excuses as it regards certain things. When we sit in these council meetings and see you guys move money like nobody's business for certain things, increase for sheriff, increase for police, increase for what have you. But when it comes to things like that, that matters in our communities, that's not our problem. Well, we're working on it 2 to 3 years later. And we notice that and we pay attention. Anybody with good sense notices the difference in how things are handled. My biggest concern is not the single fact that we don't have an ADA compliant officer, is how this government overall seems like it's outdated. We invest millions of dollars into the city government every year. Citizens are paying taxes. And for the very basic things that we ask for, it's like we're begging. Live stream a meeting is a problem. You're getting paid over $140,000 as a director, and you cannot figure out how to live stream a meeting that's imperative for all citizens. That would make it ADA compliant for disabled and elderly people who cannot make it to the meetings. I'm tired of having to feel like I'm paying my taxes. I don't have a choice to pay the taxes, but you all have a choice to tell me what services I can and cannot get, or to not pick up phone calls, or to not respond. To say that it's not our problem, there's ordinances for high grass. If I call my neighbor and say, hey, if I call and say their grass is too high, there's an ordinance for that. So when I pull into my neighborhood and there's trash and there's furniture all over the place, you're telling me you can't help us there? I'm just really tired of the excuses from people that we elected to serve us. And instead of it feeling like you guys are here to serve us, it seems like you're here to serve yourselves when it's convenient. Thank you.
All right. Next, Ms. Teresa Elamine.
Well, first of all, Mr. Mayor, I just want to thank you for a well-run, calm meeting. It's been excellent being here in the difficulty of a wheelchair. And I do want to say to Mr. Anchor, because today is election day, and this possibly could be your last meeting. And though you came on council in a controversial way, I know you are a servant leader, and I hope to stay in touch with you. I appreciate the phone conversations we've had, because I don't think people realize how deeply you care about this city. Your personality may, but you care, and I see that you care. And I just want to say to the clerk of council and to the deputy city managers, you run a good operation and you are a team. And to the social movement, I want to say you haven't lost. You haven't lost. You can win. Georgia Power put 2 nuclear reactors for the first time in 30 years at a place called Plant Vogel. Those nuclear reactors produce a lot of energy, but they kill a lot of people in a place called Shell Bluff. Georgia Power needs to come up in here, be accountable, and say what the electricity for Project Ruby is gonna do. And Liberty Utilities needs to do the same. And number 6, you need to decide whether or not you're gonna betray the people who live in Upatoy. That's a beautiful area. It's a rural area, and you're about to let it be destroyed. You need to get the 6 votes for the moratorium. It's just a 1-year moratorium, but you need to get the votes, number 6. Do not betray the movement. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. We do have a request to go into executive session to discuss litigation, potential litigation, and personnel. All right, there's a motion, a second to approve. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, we'll have to clear the chambers. Council, I guess we're going to hold it in here. We're in executive session.
I get from ADA help here if I need to move. I need somebody to roll me out. I'm going to the no, I need. Is it possible to take pictures of this? There's somebody else. My ride is coming. And it's gonna be outside. I know, but I need you to look there. You see these footprints? I need your feet on. Right? So it's hard to be able to live. The pain was constant, so it doesn't matter. Oh. Okay. See, this is my worst leg. It hurts, it's not good, it's not. Okay, I'm all set, so I just need to roll out on the lot. Oh, great. Thank you, it's good to see you.
Tiasha, would you ask Chris to let me know when we're live again? Here it comes. All right, we are back in regular session. We went into executive session to discuss litigation, potential litigation, and personnel items. No votes were taken. Turn it over to the city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. We have three items that we're going to call up for council consideration and approval. These have all been discussed in executive session. The first item is the settlement of, this is a court-approved settlement by the federal court. The claims of Clarence Nash, they're brought by his mother, Tanya Nika Porter, in federal court. Injuries from an accident which occurred August 14th, 2023. Resolution would authorize, approve the settlement in the amount of $500,000 that will settle all claims in this case. That's ready for adoption.
Motion second to approve. Any discussion on the item? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? That's approved.
Okay, thank you. The next item is a resolution. This would settle all claims of Darius Sparks that stem from an accident May 27, 2025, in total amount of $27,000. It's ready for action.
Motion second to approve that item. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It's approved.
All right, and then the last item, Mayor, would be confirmation of your appointment of Pedro F. Cardenas as Deputy Warden of Security for Muskogee County Prison, subject to approval of the State Board of Corrections.
Okay, we've got a motion from Councilor Crabb, a second from Mayor Pro Tem. All in favor say aye. Any opposed?
That's all we have.
All right, and once again, we'll tell all the dads out there, happy Father's Day, and we'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion second to adjourn. All in favor say aye. All right, we are adjourned.
Good luck. Hang in there.